How y'all doing?
Hello loves. I'm finally back. I apologize for suddenly going on a hiatus. School started picking up its pace, and I simply couldn't find the time and motivation to continue uploading videos. The idea for this one shot had actually been sitting in my draft since last year, so I had finally decided to make a decent video about it now. Also, Merry Christmas to everyone. Do accept this video as a present from yours truly. I hope you'd enjoy.
Yahoo!
The bells that hung on the door handle jingled as Oikoa pushed it open. Stepping into the tiny sit-in bakery, the brunette took in the sight of his friend's workplace. The walls were a light beige color, the wooden flooring polished smooth, with the tables and chairs pushed neatly to the side. Potted plants complemented the large display window by the door and the fairy lights were set dim, allowing some natural light in to light up the room. A Christmas tree was set up against the wall, decorated with cafe-themed charms. Many cups of coffee, cookies and croissants adorned the branches while white ribbons lined the faux leaves that were dusted lightly with fake snow. Beautifully wrapped boxes decorated with big boughs were stacked atop of one another beneath the tree as the Christmas lights twinkled above the tree. Toru took a huge whiff and could smell the hints of vanilla and coffee under the thick scent of butter. Santa Tell Me was playing softly in the background and his eyes sparkled at the rows of pastries on the display shelf. There were tarts, pies, muffins, cakes, bagels, croissants, cookies. Ah, Koa, you're here. A black-haired male looked up from behind the counter. Hey Matson. This place looks and smells amazing. The latter chuckled. Why else do you think I would want to work in a bakery? Anyway, before we go, would you mind tasting a little something for us? We're trying a new recipe and we're hoping to get some feedback. Matsukoa cocked a tray of freshly baked bread in the other's direction and he gasped at how fluffy they looked. It's milk bread, your favorite. Oikoa grinned, eagerly reaching out for one. Don't mind if I do. Biting down onto the soft and pillowy bun, he couldn't help but let out an obscene and exaggerated moan. Fuck. Matson snorted. I take it that they're good? Whoever. He started, between bites. Made these. Deserves head. Like right now. Matsukoa let out a huge laugh before a voice cut in. Are you offering? Oikoa's cheeks flushed red, immediately losing all train of thought as his gaze fell onto the man walking out the kitchen. He had short, spiky hair, piercing olive green eyes and a perfectly sharp jawline that could most definitely kill someone. He couldn't help but look past his flawlessly sculpted raised brow and deep, gruff voice. His attention shifted onto his large biceps. Man, did that shirt do his body justice. Iuhh. Good lord, how embarrassing. Matsukoa stifled a laugh, eyes darting between the two cheekily. Oikoa forced himself to swallow the half-chewed bread, fingers reaching up to brush away the excess crumbs. Perhaps. The corner of Iwaizumi's lips twitched up, and Oikoa wondered if it was natural for someone to be this good-looking. Thanks, but I'd passed, cutie. That was the only boost Oikoa needed for him to regain his composure. Oikoa leaned forward and rested his chin on his palm, looking up at the latter with lidded eyes. His lips stretched out into a flirtatious grin and he studied the latter's gorgeous dimensions. You think I'm cute? Iwaizumi, however, replied with an eye roll, retrieving the tray of milk breads from the counter and disappeared back into the kitchen. Oikoa stared at his descending back, mesmerized by how the tight uniform had wrapped around his figure, emphasizing his already very prominent back muscles. As soon as he disappeared from view, Oikoa turned towards his friend with wide eyes. Who the fuck was that? His voice soft in a harsh whisper. Matsukoa smirked, untying his apron from behind his back. Let's talk on the way. I'm pretty sure Maki is already waiting for us. Hooking his apron on the wall, he collected his belongings and guided Oikoa out of the shop. He swiveled his head back to call out to his manager before leaving. Hey, Iwa, I'm leaving now, see ya. Oikoa glanced back as he walked, hoping to have at least one last glimpse of the man before they'd left. Though, to his disappointment, all he received was a grunt of acknowledgement, and soon they were out the door and heading towards the cinema. It was the 25th of December, Christmas Day. The streets were filled with decoration. Families could be seen celebrating the festival through windows. There were kids and couples ice skating on the vast frozen lake, and there were carolers singing to their heart's content. Oikoa, however, didn't have plans for the holiday. He simply hoped that he could spend the holiday with the love of his life. Milk bread. But let's be real. We all know that milk bread wasn't the only thing on his mind when he had decided to visit the bakery again. After a whole night of gay panicking and manifesting good vibes with his crystals, he had decided to head back down to the quaint little bakery to see this Iwaizumi Hajime person. He hummed softly, the cold air tickling his cheeks as he made his way down the concrete pathway. He hid his nose in his scarf, shoving his hands into his coat as he walked down the street. However, his mood soon dampened when he noticed that most of the shops along the street were closed for the day. Damn it. Why didn't he think this through? The bakery's probably closed too. Darn it, Toru, why are you such a dum-dum? However, his eyes brightened when he saw the wooden open sign clink against the glass door in the winter breeze. He happily entered the establishment. The bakery was empty, which was pretty expected, considering the fact that most families would celebrate Christmas at home in front of a crackling fire.
Yahoo!
His soft voice echoed in the empty establishment and a head poked out from the kitchen. Well, oh, it's you. Oikawa flashed his award-winning smile, walking up to the counter. Matsuko isn't working today. May I help you? Ah, well, I was hoping that I could buy those milk breads from yesterday. Oh, I was just about to make them. You'd have to come back at about. He glanced at the clock on the wall. 1 p.m. I don't mind waiting here. He cringed internally at how eager his voice sounded. Is he for real? For 3 hours? Yeah. Anything for milk bread, am I right? The baker stared at the brunette with an unreadable expression but shrugged it off, before turning back to the kitchen. Not celebrating Christmas? I could ask you the same thing, Iwa-chan. Huh? He. Matson said that your name is Iwaizumi, so Iwa-chan you will be. Oikawa smiled brightly. I don't have a choice now, do I? No. Well then, to be fair, what's your name? Oikawa gasped dramatically, palm over his chest as he feigned hurt. Matson doesn't talk about me. That little shit. After all I've done for him. Iwaizumi chuckled as he started weighing the flour he needed for the bread. I'm Oikawa Toru. Okay, then, Oikawa, no plans for Christmas? No. He popped the pea. My family and I aren't really simpatico at the moment. So I won't be celebrating Christmas with them this year. Was that a Tangled reference? OMG, he's hot and watches Disney. Oikawa mumbled under his breath as he watched from the entrance of the kitchen. What? Nothing. But yes, that was kinda surprised you caught on. Kinda hard not to when it's my all-time favorite Disney movie. Oh my god, really? Me too. We should watch it together sometimes. Iwaizumi gave him a side glance, a teasing glint in his eyes. You asking me out? He sent a suggestive smirk to the latter, causing his eyes to widen. Pink tinted Oikawa's cheeks. I mean, I'm down. Iwaizumi let out a chuckle as he mixed the yeast into a cup of warm milk. I'll think about it, he said, although he was already clear of what his answer would be. What about you, Iwa-chan? Why'd you open the bakery on Christmas? No plans to? Well, my parents are past tense and I'm an only child with super distant relatives, so I spend most of my holidays alone. Oh. I'm so sorry. It's okay, don't be. It happened years ago and I'm pretty much over it. Gets a little lonely sometimes though. The last sentence trailed off and Oikawa's eyes softened. Iwaizumi cleared his throat, stirring the contents together. Well, it's okay. I'm here now. Why don't we spend Christmas together this year? Iwaizumi's actions stopped momentarily, looking up towards the former. I literally just met you. Who cares? We can get to know each other. Then we won't be strangers anymore. Iwaizumi blinked, studying Toru as he gnawed at his lip. I'd like that. The duo spent the rest of the day in the bakery, chatting over Iwaizumi's baked goods and hot chocolate. Eventually, Iwaizumi had invited the brunette into the kitchen and allowed him to help make the bread. From time to time, Oikawa would catch himself staring a little too much at Iwaizumi's flexing biceps whenever he needed the dough, earning him a tease whenever he had noticed. How could someone as beautiful as Oikawa look so much more enticing flustered? Hajime truly did not know. He didn't know why his body reacted quicker than his brain, but before he could comprehend, he reached up and poked Oikawa's rosy cheeks with a dough-stained finger. Why the hell is his skin so soft? Yelping, Oikawa reached into the sack and threw a handful of flour at the latter as payback, barking out a laugh at Iwaizumi's expression. Doubling over with laughter, Oikawa, however, was met with baking powder thrown right back at him. Food fight. The oven timer was drowned out under their loud voices and fits of laughter as food was hurled across the kitchen haphazardly. The walls were splattered with milk and flour, cracked eggshells laid defeated on the floor as raw eggs, sugar and batter had painted the countertop with grease and oil. It was only when the smoke alarm in the bakery had gone off that they had acknowledged the burning milk bread. Oikawa whined about how Iwaizumi had ruined his moneymaker and Iwaizumi could only laugh along as he held the main door open for the exhaust fumes to escape. He couldn't remember the last time he had so much fun. Heck, even cleaning up the kitchen with Oikawa was a blast. He never wanted the day to end, and of course, Toru felt the same way. After scrubbing the floor clean of grease, Oikawa let out an exhausted sigh and he flopped onto the seat next to Iwaizumi. He pushed a bowl of marshmallows towards the tired brunette. Thank you for your hard work. That was so fun. Sucks that the milk bread was ruined though. Iwaizumi's gaze fell onto Oikawa's pouty lips and he subconsciously licked his own. I'll be sure to make some for you next time. So, there will be a next time? Heat cooled onto Iwaizumi's cheeks. I mean, if you insist. Oikawa giggled, intertwining his fingers and stretching them out in front of him. Today was an amazing first date, wasn't it? He reached forward to brush the remaining streaks of flour off Iwaizumi's reddening cheek. Huh? D-date? Yes, silly Iwa, a date. Iwaizumi fell silent, his eyes downcast as he bit the inside of his cheek. Ah crap. Had Oikawa said the wrong thing? I'm sorry, if I read the room wrong it's just. You're really attractive and fun to be around. I mean. His heart cracked slightly when he saw Iwaizumi turn away from him. I'm sorry, why you should just forget. Shut up, Oikoa. I am. You up. Yeah okay, shutting up now. Iwaizumi hid his crimson cheeks from the latter behind his palms, swallowing hard at the adorably nervous and anxious man. Oikoa felt a lump in his throat, his palms getting all clammy out of embarrassment as he fiddled with his fingers. Iwaizumi sighed and reached forward, capturing Toru's palm in his. The brunette's eyes widened and his bottom lip started to tremble as he watched Iwaizumi's calloused fingers brush against his own. Today was amazing. He brought their hand up to his lips, kissing Oikoa's knuckles softly. The tips of Oikoa's ears burned and he watched a small smile spread across Iwaizumi's lips. How does tomorrow evening sound? Toru felt his breath get caught in his throat, his cheeks getting redder than ever before. His heart swelled with happiness and joy as it palpitated excitedly against his ribcage. Wonderful. He whispered out in a trance-like state. Hajime chuckled softly, his warm breath tickling their skin as he looked up at Toru with soft eyes. The Christmas lights reflected against his emerald orbs and Oikoa couldn't help but get lost in them. Merry Christmas, Oikoa. And that's the end of this Iwaoi Christmas one-shot. Once again, Merry Christmas to every one of you. Do comment down below how you've celebrated the festival, I'd love to read them. All music, GIFs and media used will be linked and credited in the description, along with some other comments about the channel. See you soon.